What want Rebirth? You at work tonight? I know you always up on night shift, you know. What you think tonight? Did you at work? Oh, yo. Okay. So you get some time off tonight. Okay. So they may assume that the family good and thing. Good night, Miss Renee. Okay, 1 week vacation, excellent. Yeah, beautiful Florida. Let's just hope no, you guys don't get in a hurricane while you are there in Florida. Let's hope you guys don't get in a hurricane. Because this hurricane season seems to be very active. I was saying to my wife the other day that it seems as if every hurricane that comes about, it has to go somewhere in America. If it's not Florida, it's Alabama, North Carolina, somewhere. Because I guess the country is so big. So yeah, I guess the country is so big that the hurricane normally get to somewhere on mainland America. So hopefully for the week you are in Florida, you have good weather, sunny weather, yeah, so that at least you can be outside and enjoy the deserved time that you have gone off. And I'm sure that the family is happy that you're off also, because sometimes as men we are mostly on the go, which is how it really should be. So you know, the time off works great. And Renee is on here. I'm sure that Renee is also pleased that you're off. Sunny and hot. Well, it's either sunshine or rain, you know. In Florida, it's either sunshine or rain. So sunny and hot is not bad. It's the time of the year for that. It's the time of the year. I guess sunny and hot would be more acceptable than a hurricane or than, you know, constant rain. Yeah. Yeah, man. So as usual, I assume that because the last conversation we had, you said you had no problems driving from state to state. I'm wondering if you drove to Florida this time or you flew, because that's a very long drive. I'm guessing that you did not drive this time. You flew to Florida, because I know that driving it can be it's a long drive. So how did you get there? You flew there or you drove there, or you got there? Okay, and this feed drove down. Whoa, boy, you're serious bad. Boy, I wish I could do that. You're serious bad. That's a long drive. That's more than if you're leaving from New York, I'm assuming that's more than a day's drive. I assume. I would have to good night, Sister Juliet. That's more than a day's drive, but I guess that's the soldier in you. I'm not sure if I could do that. Yeah, man. But 17 hours drive. Okay, it's not a day, 17 hours drive. But that's not bad. The most I've ever driven is for 6 hours. one way, 6 hours one way. Yeah, but yeah, I guess it's good to be home among the family members. All right, we are going to be starting tonight. I have a very interesting topic that I want us to look at tonight, and I'm going to need your help a whole lot as it relates to this topic. And you might find it interesting also. You should find it interesting because, good night, Sister Marlene. You should find it interesting because some of us here, we are not so young anymore. We are no longer in our 20s and our 30s. Some of us have hit the 40 stage, and who knows, in a couple of years, not long from now, we are going to get to the 50 mark. And you know, when you get to the 50 mark, you are going to get into the 60s mark. And when you get to the 60s mark, you are getting to the 70s mark, and the trend continues. It simply means that you are getting older. Alright, but before we delve into it, we are going to pray for God's guidance as we have this discussion. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together again in a fashion like this. We thank you for those who have joined so far, and for those who will be joining. We pray that our discussion will be guided and blessed by you. May we learn something, and may we inspire each other. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right. Again, let me say a pleasant good night to all of us. It's a pleasure being here again. I want a very interesting and important topic tonight. I want to look at the topic of old age. Old age. Old age. Yes, old age. I want to look at the topic of old age tonight. And the topic of old age as it relates to how important it is for children to look after or be there for their parents when they get old. When they get old. How important it is. Is it important? How important it is for children to look after their parents or be there for them, give the necessary support they need when they get old. Of course, some of us on here so far, we might be, some of us are parentless. I know for me, both parents are deceased, and I think for Roberto, both his parents are deceased, if I'm not wrong. And Juliet is on here. I think her mother's passed. I'm not sure about her father. Sister Marlene is here. Her father passed, but her mother is still alive. Okay, so some of us have one parent, some of us have no parent at all. And maybe someone will come on tonight that has both parents. How important it is. That is what we're going to be looking at tonight. For children to be there for their parents when they get to old age. The Bible gives us some guidance, and we're going to look at the guidance that the Bible gives us. But it is a very important and interesting topic. Some still have both, and those of us who have both parents, please know that it's a blessing to have both parents. I guess the older you get, the more you appreciate your parents, knowing that okay, yeah, I know your father still alive, Juliet. I believe that the older you get, the more you appreciate your parents. I would want to imagine the older you get, the more you appreciate them, the more you cherish them, the older you get. Not necessarily the older they get, but the older you get, because you over time realize, especially if they passed on some good. Yeah, we're in the same boat. We have none. We are orphans as it is at the moment. We're orphans. Thank God for the children and the wife that the Lord has given us, that fills the gap of the kind of love that parents give to their children. So the children that the Lord has given us and the wives fills that gap. And so even though we don't have parents, we still have significant others who truly care for us. But as I was saying, there are those of us who the older we get, the more we appreciate our parents. And yes, yeah, in-laws. And it is good when the in-laws, you know, you can have a good relationship with the in-laws, and you can see them as a mother, you can see them as a father, and that is very important. So I am assuming so Courtney is saying that he has in-laws that he has a good relationship with them, and that is important. My wife's father has passed, but I get along well with her mother, and I believe that is important, and I believe that is a blessing. As a matter of fact, I am very special to her. So you know that I believe that is important. So how important it is for parents, for our parents, whether it's your biological parents or in-laws, how important it is for us to be there for them when they get old. How important that is. It is something that we have to look at. And one of the reasons why I'm having discussion today, I saw a gentleman today, and he has a number of children. He has a number of children. His wife passed some time ago, and he's living alone, and he was basically saying to me that he has no one to help him. And I was saying to myself, it is amazing how you can have a number of children, and they are grown, they are gone, some are overseas, they are all over the place, and there's no one to help you. There's no one making sure that you are there for, that they are there for you. You are just left alone, and who knows, probably it is when you die, everyone flies from all over the world to come and, you know, bury you, or whatever the case may be. It is, Renee says, it's a very sad situation. I see that all the time with my patients. Yeah. Good comment, Renee. Yeah. Good night, Sister Jackie. Good night, Sister Jackie. Yes. So it, as I was saying, it's amazing. It's amazing how people have so many children. And one of the reasons why I'm having this discussion tonight also is that old age is for everybody. If you don't die, you are going to get old. I hope all of us realize that. if you do not die, good night, Tessa. If you do not die, you are going to get old. It is inevitable. You are going to get old. It is inevitable. You are going to get old if you do not die. I was laughing at myself the other day, because I have been in the glasses business now for more than a decade. And when I started, customers used to come and say, boy, I can't see the fine prints when it's near to me. And I used to wonder what that feels like. I used to take up the same document and say, but I can see it. But they say I can't see it because I'm at a certain age, and I used to wonder what that is like. I am now at the stage. I am now at the stage where I cannot function without my glasses to do certain things. And a decade ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I didn't need a glasses to read anything. If I'm going to help my son now with his homework, I have to send for my glasses. I have to get my glasses. I just can't see properly what's on the paper. And it tells me that I'm getting old. Old age is for all of us. Old age is for all of us. And it is not every day we are going to be the same. We are going to get old. those who are old now, our parents, our in-laws, our parents, how important it is for us to be there for them. How important it is for us to be there for them. Because we have to remember that we are also heading in that same direction. We have to remember that all of us are heading in that direction. I don't know if you ever sat down. Courtney says, I remember when I used to think that a 30-year-old was old. Okay, yeah. I don't know if you ever sat down and really thought about how you would look when you get old, when you probably get to 70, when you get to 80, how you would look, how you would feel, how things would be for you. It is something that a lot of us really don't think about, because it probably can be scary to think about that, knowing that you might have certain challenges in terms of in terms of old age. I don't think Courtney is 50 really. Courtney and I spent 1, 2, 3 years in the same class at high school. So I want to imagine that my age is close to his, or probably at the same age as or whichever way. I don't think he's 50 as yet. I'm not sure if you're saying he looks like 50 or he's behaving like 50. But in any event, old age is for everybody, and all of us are getting there. We have to remember that whatever we do in life, it normally comes back at us. Whatever you sow, that is what we reap. That is a critical thing for us to understand. Those of us who are blessed to still have parents or a parent, that is the discussion that we want to have tonight. That is what we want to look at tonight. How important it is for us to be there for our parents or parent. How important it is for our children who are their grandchildren to learn the value of their grandparents, and also how important it is for us to teach them to care for and be there for their grandparents. Good night, Alicia. It is critical. It is critical because the older our parents get, the more they will, in some cases, I'm not saying all cases, but in some cases or maybe more cases, the older our parents get, the more assistance they will need from their children or from their grandchildren. The older they get, they will need more assistance from their children or their grandchildren. And so I believe it is critical that our parents get the kind of attention and the kind of care that is necessary for them to function. Good night, Alicia. We're looking at old age, and we're looking at how important it is for children to be there for their parents when they are old. How important it is for children to be there for their parents when they are old. Children, both children and grandchildren, and not just biological parents, but also in-laws, because some persons, like myself, have no parents. They have long gone. Some of us have no parents, while some of us might have one. Some of us have both parents. And those of us with parents, how important it is for us to be there for them. I know some persons cannot stand old people. They don't have the patience to deal with old people. Some persons don't like old people. They are too slow. They are too old-fashioned. And the list goes on and 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 on. But every one of us must remember that those old people were once young, and they lived long enough to get old. And all of us wants to live long. All of us wants to live long. And if we are blessed to live long, one day we too will become old, and there will be younger people looking at us, having to deal with us. And I guess we would want to be treated in a certain manner of respect, and care and love by those who are younger than us, because most of us here now are young and fresh, and we can run up and down and jump and skip, but slowly but surely all of us are getting to old age, and we must take care to understand that looking out for those of us our parents is important. There are some scriptures that I have that the Bible gives us some guidance. The Bible gives us some guidance. As I said earlier on, one of the reasons I'm looking at this tonight, because sometimes we are so busy, going about our lives, that we forget that we are getting older every day, and some things that we are seeing now, we are going to have to face them down the road. We're going to have to face them down the road. And as I was saying, I saw this gentleman who has a number of children. A number of children he has. And he's now old. His wife passed a couple years ago. And he was saying to me today that he has no one to help him. He's living alone. He's not well. He has to go to the doctor by himself. He has to cook for himself. He has to wash for himself. And he's not young. He's more than likely in his 70s, 80s. He has to do everything for himself. Yet, he has a number of children who are grown, and those children have grandchildren. And I'm saying to myself, is it right? And I want you to give me some feedback on this. Is it right? How do you view this? Give me your feedback on this. How do you view this? A man has a number of children, grandchildren. His wife has passed. He's in his 70s, 80s. He's not well. I knew this answer was coming, and I knew that question was coming, Courtney, and it is something that I planned to address. I plan to address that. Does it matter if he was a good father? Does it matter if he was a good father? And let's be honest now, and we do not have to agree, but does it matter? Because bear in mind now, your biological father and your biological mother, it is not something that you can change. It's not something that you can change. Your biological father will always be your biological father. In other words, without them, you would not be here. And likewise, your biological mother. Cody says sometimes it does matter. Okay. But why would you say that? Why would you say that, Cody? Sometimes it does matter. Because persons will tell you that sometimes parents are not perfect, and some parents make serious mistakes. Some parents make serious mistakes out of kindness of my heart. If my father was not good to me, I would still try to make sure he was comfortable as an old man. That is, I like that perspective, really, because some parents, no parents are perfect. None of them are perfect. And the kind of information, even though today, 2021 still, there are many parents who still neglect their children. But we have more information now as to the benefits of trying to be there for our children. We have more information now. However, some parents made the mistake of neglecting their children, weren't a good father or a good mother, so to speak, and they made mistakes. But when they get old and they are in need, should we treat them the way how they deserve? Should we treat them the way how they deserve? From a human perspective, should we treat them the way how they deserve, in a way that they deserve? Should we treat them that way? And the next question that I would want to ask, what benefit would you get from treating them as their sins deserve? Treating them, allowing them to get what they deserve in terms of treating them poorly because they treated you poorly. I don't think you would benefit in any way. I think you would probably feel better in yourself if you help them, even though they did not do anything for you, they did not help you. I think that would be more rewarding to you deep down on the inside. Give me a perspective. But that is my take on it. That is what I believe. Even if Courtney says, I would like to, but I can't, my heart would not. My heart would not let me. And I can understand that, because there are some parents, and I'm not only going to say fathers, even though if you're a Jamaican, it will be more fathers. There are some parents who really treated their children poorly. They were not there for them. They neglected them. They were not there. They didn't look out for their children. They turned their backs on their children completely. Juliet says the love of God makes you help them. So if for some persons it can be challenging. When you're in that situation at the particular time, you may think different. Think different, Alicia. You may think different and help them. If you find yourself in that position, you may think different and help them. Is that what you're saying? Or you may think different and not help them because they just did not help you. However, your father or your mother neglected you totally. Now they are old. Okay, so you would help them. Then they totally neglected you. They turned their back on you. And you are in a position to help them. Don't you think it would be good for you, and of course for them, if you help them the best way that you can? If you set the example and you become the good person in the conversation and be there for them. Because as far as I can think, somebody who is old that is in need is like a child who needs someone to be there for them. There's a Jamaican proverb that says, once a man, twice a child. That's what that's a Jamaican proverb, and I kind of agree with that Jamaican proverb. Once a man, twice a child. In other words, you're a man once, but you're a child twice. You're a child when you were born and you're growing up, and then you become a child. The older you get, you need more assistance from someone to do and to move forward and so forth. And so it is critical. It is critical, I believe, that children, grandchildren are there for their parents. They're there for their parents. And it is critical that they're there for their parents, because all of us are getting old. All of us are getting old, and all of us are getting to that stage. However, there are those who will say, Juliet says, my father's wife used to collect his pay. No, she is dead. Okay, so your father's wife used to collect his pay. So basically, his wife did not allow him to be a good father. Is that what you're saying? His wife did not allow him to be a good father, because sometimes the spouse can cause the parent of the child not to be there for the child, especially when it comes to outside children. You have in Jamaica, a lot of us are outside children, or if you want to call it jacket, outside children. Our fathers went and have children with another woman and XYZ and so forth, and we're outside children, and sometimes the outside children get left behind because sometimes the father is married and okay, Julius, so Julius says we got nothing, and this can make you angry. If we are going to be real, this can make you angry, and this can cause you to say, boy, look here, he's on his own. He's on his own. He put his wife before us, before me. Now she is dead. She's not able to help him. Why am I supposed to help him? Why am I supposed to help him when the person that stopped him from being there for us, she's no longer there? She can't help him. He made a grave mistake. He made a very grave mistake, and a lot of parents make this kind of mistake. But should this prevent us? Should this prevent us from looking after them, doing the best for them when they get to a stage where they cannot function? They cannot function on their own. It's a very important question. There is a scripture that I want to introduce you now. It is in 1 Timothy 5. 1 Timothy 5. Let me read this comment while you look for it. 1 Timothy 5 verse 4. Timothy is in the New Testament. 1 Timothy 5 verse 4. I'm going to show you a few scriptures that speaks to this topic. No matter what your father or mother do, when it comes to helping them, what goes around comes around. Okay, so Michelle says that, and I guess that is coming from the whole notion of nobody is perfect, and parents make mistakes. Parents make mistakes. Even us today, as parents who have all this wealth of knowledge, and we are learning from the past mistakes of our parents and grandparents, we are still making mistakes because that's just who we are. But I do not believe that the mistakes that parents make should cause their children to turn their back on them, indefinitely. I just don't believe that should be the case, because it is not that you can change your parents. Your parents are your parents. Julia says you help because of God. All right. 1 Timothy 5 verse 4. I'm reading from the Eastern Standard Version. It says, but if a widow has children or grandchildren, you know, a widow is a woman that has no husband, her husband is dead. If a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household and to make some return to their parents, for this is pleasing in the sight of God. In other words, when the woman's husband is dead, her husband is dead, or the man's wife is dead, the children, your parents become your responsibility. Your parents must not be begging other persons, must not be dependent. Once you can, and I want to hear if you agree with me or disagree with me, once you can help, that responsibility must not be passed on to anyone. You must help as much as you can. You must help as much as you can. And I know that, of course, some of us will say, boy, if they were good parents, it's easy. But let me tell you, how many of you, I heard Renee mention it earlier on, that it happens to some of our patients. How many of you know persons who their mother or father was there for them, and when they became successful or the parents got to old age, they totally neglected that parent or their parents? So this does not only happen to bad parents. this also happened to good parents. There are parents who were there 100% for their children. True, I think so. Once you can help. Yeah, once you can help, you help. But there are parents who were there for their children. They made sacrifices. They struggled. They sat up at nights and saw that their children did the studying, finished the homework, encouraged them, spend the money, XYZ. And when they needed their children were not there for them. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that? I have seen it. I have seen it on a number of occasions. You have some parents who have done their best, who have gone without so that their children can have. And when it was time for the children or the child to be there for them, the child neglected them. Have you ever seen that? But according to 1 Timothy 5, the writer said, look here, if the parent has children, the children must look after the parent, must be there, do the best you can. Good night, Sister Veronica. You must do the best you can. Your mother or your father cannot be struggling and you can help, but you're too busy. I heard this true story of this man who was in the hospital and he had a number of children, and all of them, when they got a call to come and look for the father, all of them were busy. One of them was at the car wash, couldn't leave. Others were elsewhere, they couldn't go and look for him. And it is when he died, you find everybody crying and everybody coming, running, coming, and the funeral has to be put off a number of times because XYZ has to come from overseas, and XYZ who was overseas did not speak to the father for years, and so you find all of these things taking place. But as children, as people who have parents, we have to understand that we have to do the best we can to be there for our parents, those who our parents, whether biological parents or in-laws or so on. We have to try our best to be there for them. Why? Because we're heading in their direction. The only reason why they are old and we are not is because they were born before us. But they were once young and they had to deal with old people, and now they are old and we are going to be in their position one day. And so we have to know this. Yes. There's another one that I want to another scripture that I want us to look at. So the 1 Timothy 5 verse 4 is very important, because it's saying that when parents have children, especially if the parent, their partner has died. For example, your mother or husband has died, so she has no support. She has no one to support her financially, or she has no support. She's lacking support, and not only that, your mother or your father might, for example, your mother lose her husband, or your father lose his wife. Even though they might not be struggling financially, but they have lost their partner. And this is when it is very important for children to be there, to be there for them. And sometimes even when that parent lives alone, sometimes you might want to get them out of the house, carry them out, do something for them, because I always say life is so, one of the things that I don't like about life and things I don't like about life. Single father sent his children to college and university. Now they turn their backs on him. He's struggling now. Yeah, I've seen that. But one of the things I don't like about life, and there's nothing I can do about it, but this is one of the main things I hate about life, and is that you are married to someone for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, and the person dies and leave you. The person dies and has left you. And you might be at an age where you're not planning to get married again. Or it will be such that your children will say you're not marrying again. Because you and I know that when parents get to a certain age, their children tend to tell them what to do. It's just a way of the world. When they were children, their parents told them what to do, had a say in their life. When parents get older, the older they get, the more children will want to have a say in their lives. And when one partner dies, some children will say, you're not getting married again. You're not getting married again, especially if it's the father. And if it's the father and he is interested in getting married to somebody much younger, some children will not have it. Some children will not have it. They will not have that. Some children will go to the ends of the world to make sure that their parents don't get into certain relationships. They are in charge. They are in control, and they will do everything in their power to make sure that this does not happen, and you know, they will have a say. However, I believe it's so unfair about life when, you know, one partner dies. I believe that, I don't know, this might sound funny to you, but I believe that when two people are old, maybe they should die together. I don't know, because I know it sounds foolish, but you are married to this person for decades, and now the person is gone, and you're on your own, and you're not going to get married again, and you're sleeping alone in the bed, and you're alone in the house. Children are gone, grandchildren are gone, you are just alone, you're on your own. It can be challenging. I don't know what it feels like, but I can try to imagine what it feels like. It can't be good. It can't be good. This is when it is important that children are there for the parent. It's very important. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think. As a matter of fact, do you think